So welcome everybody. In this video we're looking at how to export in Photoshop. There are so many ways that you can export and make your workflow really nice, and that's what we'll be diving into today. So welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, please hit the subscribe button. If at the end of this video you find it helpful, please hit the like button. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is how to export artboards. Artboards are kind of difficult to export because when you come to file, export, hit export as, it's going to take a while, then it's going to load the page, and depending on how big your documents are, it may take some time for it to load up. The problem with exporting like this is that it's just going to load all your artboards here for you to export everything at once, okay? And that is not what you want. Most times maybe you just want to export a part of your document. If you hit export now, it's going to take a while, then it's going to export everything to the directed folder that you've selected. But we don't want to go to that route. Maybe this is what you want. It's totally fine, but let me show you other ways that you can export without coming to this page. Maybe you just want to export 1 or 2 pages. Okay, what many people don't know is that you can select any layer here in the artboard and just click on this hamburger menu. I don't know if that's even hamburger menu, but it's a menu. So you come here and you say export as. If you click export as, now you can see that the same export as is the same thing as what was here. And let's go back. You see export as, the same thing, okay? But this one, when you select a particular art folder, an artboard, and you come here and you say export as, is different, okay? Look at what happens now in this export panel. It's not going to select all the layer, but it's going to only export the selected artboard. You can see it here. This is the only one that is exporting, and this can be used also in groups. Maybe you just want to export a particular group, you can also use this method. Maybe you're creating a document. Let's come back to this one. You're creating a document and you have all this on your layer. I'm sorry that my layer is scattered. Well, that's what most of us do, and I'm also guilty of this crime. Let me just select all these layers and Ctrl G. Okay, now we have this. So we have this here, then we have this here. Okay, good. Now let's say I just want to export this part here with all this icon. It's very easy to do. All you just need to do is select this one and come to this hamburger menu here and just say export as. Okay, that would be the only thing that is going to export. Maybe you're the type that you don't like creating artboards, but you just like creating layers or top layers. Maybe after making one version, you select all group, then you duplicate, then start working on your other version. Well, that can be a total way of exporting each of your document or your design after you're done at the end of the day. Maybe let's say you want to convert this to PNG. You don't want it to have this background. It's very simple. You can just come here and just turn it to PNG, and it's going to take out the background because your document actually does not have that background. But Photoshop will automatically give the background if you're exporting it as a JPEG, but if you're exporting it as PNG, it's going to take out the background. Okay, you hit the transparency and that's it. You can click export and you have your document exported just the way it is here. So we are not exporting anything here, but I just want to show you the different ways. Okay, now that we are done with this exporting, how about the fact that I want to export all these things on their own separately in the design? It's very easy to do. All you need to do is to come to this folder here. You don't need to even select any folder in this one, but you just have to be on this page. Okay, we are going to hide this layer because the more layer there is in your document while you want to go through this process, the longer it's going to take. Okay, I've done this process before. Let me show you the folder. Okay, there's an error. I've done this process before, so you can see that I was able to export everything on that particular design on separate layer. Maybe you just want to package this for students to practice with, and you want to give them all the resources that they need to be able to make that design. You can just click this process I'm about to show you now. So I don't want to export everything again, but I just want to show you the process so that you know how to do it. Say I'm going to hide this layer. It's not necessary, but if you want to export everything, you can open all your layers. So you come to file, you come to export, and you're going to see this one that say export layers to files. So when you click on this, the panel is going to open. Let's wait for it. Okay, we have this. You select the folder that you want it to be, you select the file name, the prefix. Maybe you just want it to be like something like PNG. You don't want it to have much other names. For example, if you look at the one I did, it has this preface of this name, and it's long. I didn't take notes while I was doing this one, but it's long. But it depends on what you're trying to do, so you can keep the name short as much as you can. Okay, say visible layers only. Okay, I want visible layers only. Okay, I remember I've hidden this layer too, so I just want visible layers only. Okay, let's take 24. Then let's say trim layer. I think trim layer is going to make all this layer to be the same size instead of having this big artboard or having the document here. I think that's what it's going to do. Let's just try. Let's go. Let's run with it. Okay, so now we have I think we've selected the necessary things that we think. Then let's hit run. It's going to take a while. The last one I did took almost, I didn't count, but it took a very long time. So it depends on how big your file size is going to take way longer time. Okay, but since I'm taking just the visible this time and not exporting everything, let's just see, maybe it will take shorter time. So I may speed this part up. Maybe I should speed this part up. Okay, we're done. It said export layer files was successful. Okay, that's very easy to do. And let's check out the folder. Okay, now we have our layers here. Okay, we have it. Okay, what happened was that the trim settings that I clicked the other time helped just to resize the files. Only resize, like bring it down to a size that not the whole artboard size anymore. You remember the first one I did not on camera was having these big artboards. You see them big. Let me see that layer, that particular layer that was exported. Okay, now we see this one here just in this corner, but because we click on that trim, I think that's a better option for exporting it. Just so click the trim in order to have everything trimmed nice and clear here, so you can have all these one now for your future projects. So that is one thing you need to know about exporting each individual files. Okay, there are other things that you still also need to know about exporting, but this one I personally use it for exporting carousel. Okay, let me show you an example. Let me look for my carousel template. It's been a while since I did carousel. Okay, this carousel I recently made. Okay, now let's see. This is a carousel design that I made to present a brand, okay, to being signature. Okay, so how do I export all this? Because this is a single document. So what happened was very simple. I needed to make grid, which are these. So, and I needed to slice it. I think I've already done the slicing before. Let me just show you. If you already know slicing, I think I don't need to explain that, but let me just show you. You see this slicing tool here. You can take any of this one, like this slicing. Okay, say slide from grid. Okay, because of this grid are here, it's just going to slice this one single document into grid. Because I've already created this grid before. Let me just create something new. Maybe this may be well understanding. Because this is an artboard, for instance. Okay, everything is separated into each other. Okay, but in carousel that I created, everything is just a single document. But how do I export each page? How do I export each page from this point of this grid? Okay, first I have to slice this document. Like coming here, clicking slide, and say slide from grid. Okay, slide from grid. So it's going to slice the document into these 10 pages carousel that I've made. Okay, maybe in one of this video I'm going to show you how to make carousels in Photoshop. But once you're done with the slicing, here is where this exporting comes into play. You have export as web. Okay, once you click on export as web now, so this is where you come to. Okay, I've already created a preset for myself where I say my PNG. No, that's not PNG. My JPEG setting. So this kind of give me a better quality. I can't even remember the process that I use in doing this, but in case you are wondering, just take PNG 24. Okay, it's kind of a better version of PNG. It's going to give you a better background. So, but this is default. It's going to work very well. So once you're done with this, click the transparency, leave everything else. Okay, and all you just need to do is to hit export. Okay, once you hit export, it's going to take a while. It's going to ask you where you're going to save it to. I think this could be signature, this image, cursor presentation. I think this one was nice, and you just have to click export. Okay, save. It's gonna ask you, you will by replacing this folder because I didn't select another folder. So let me click, and just for example sake, okay, let's create another folder. Let's just say new export and hit enter, and it's going to say open and save. It's going to save everything individually. It's going to take this one, save it. So let's go to folder, image. Okay, this is just the structure of the way it exports. So we have this now, this thing, carousel presentation. Now we have it. Okay, this is the way you can actually create a carousel and export each individual. Maybe in the next few videos from now, I'll teach how to make carousel design and how to export it like this, so you can have a fluid Instagram post. Okay, so this is another way of exporting files. And one last thing that I didn't talk about before, let's say you want to export just these two artboards. Okay, you want to export just these two artboards. So we're talking about artboard 3 and artboard 3 copy. So once you select these two folder, okay, select the first one, you can hold it Control Alt Shift, so the second one, and now you can also come here and say export. Okay, export as. Okay, now we have this, just it's two artboard. Okay, and finally, let me show you this export preset, okay, that you can make for exporting your files. So we have this, we have export, then we have this quick export as PNG. Okay, there is a setting that you have to set this so that it can either be PNG or JPEG. So it is in this export preference that you do that setting. It's like a default, a quick way of exporting. You just want something sharp, so you have to create a preset down that whenever you want to export, you just click on this, but it's based on your export preferences. So you have to come to export preferences, then just do your settings. Then whenever you want to export, you don't need to sweat it, you just need to click quick export and your file is good to go. So maybe you want it to be a JPEG, or you want it to be a GIF. Okay, maybe you want it to be PNG, but let's say I want it to be JPEG. I want the quality to be 7. Okay, 7 is good, it's not passing that, so leave it like that. You say ask Figma to export each time, or say export file to a folder next to the current document. Okay, most times people would like to export it to a folder that is next. Maybe just create a folder by itself and just put it there. Okay, or maybe you want it to ask you where you want to export it to. Okay, this may be a better option. So you want the copyright contacts, because these are the questions they will ask you in the normal export page. So they want you to put everything on automatic. You want it to convert the color mode to RGB, or you just want to leave it the way. Maybe you design in CMYK and you want to convert it to RGB. Doesn't matter, or like this to always be checked. So we have export as location. So export access to location with current document, or export access to the last specified. Okay, this may not be a good option for the last specified, so you export to the location of the current document. Okay, that will be very closer to work with. This depends on you. Okay, so we have use legacy export as. Okay, I really don't understand this, but let's say use legacy export as. What will happen is, let's just click on it and let's see what happens. Okay, let's click on it. Let's come here and just click it export as. Okay, and let's watch what happens. It exported without us knowing. Okay, folder. Okay, so now let's change the setting again to export preferences. Now let's turn that off. Use legacy export as. Okay, because I think that makes the file quite kind of small, and I don't want that. I want to keep all fidelity. So let's hit export as again, because okay, this one is taking longer, I think. So okay, let's come here. Oh, it replaced it. Good. This one is way better. This gives you a better quality, because the first one that I loaded was giving me, with the legacy, the file size was so small. You didn't notice that, but it was so small. It was like 300 and something kilobytes, but this one is giving like 5.1 MB. Okay, so this kind of give you, it retains all the quality, and you don't want a low quality export. Okay, so that's the way you can quickly just export things without you stressing yourself. So that brings us to the end of the video, and if you find this video helpful, please hit the like button, and if this is your first time, please hit the subscribe button. As always, this is my 6th day of sharing what I know as a graphic designer. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.